I also believe that talking to police without an attorney, especially after you've killed someone,
It's
is
wild.
probably the dumbest thing I have ever heard.
It is.
Why would you? I feel like that was her privilege talking. I feel like she was like, there's no way you're going to arrest me.
Yep.
I was so scared. Absolutely not.
Now, if you're not ready, then go ahead and just tell me you're not ready.
I object to you getting records. You've been intrusive into people's personal lives.
In other words, the car didn't hit him, and he wasn't hit by the car.
I'm not a lawyer, but
are y'all keeping up?
I'm not a lawyer, but
The debrief.
Hello and welcome to another episode of I'm Not a Lawyer, But
The debrief.
I am Mel, aka I'm Not a Lawyer, But, and I'm joined by my co-host.
Goosebay, how y'all doing?
And on this podcast, we are not lawyers or experts in the legal field. Don't take our advice about anything. We just consume a ton of information in this space and then come on this podcast. Sometimes we hope to inform you about something you may not know. Other times we just want to have the conversation and hope you are as engaged as we are. So today we are going to be talking about a trial that started this week, which is the trial of Susan Lorincz. And she is on trial. She is a 59-year-old woman now, I believe. And she has been charged with manslaughter in Florida. In the death, she's a 59-year-old white woman who has been charged with manslaughter in the death of her neighbor, a Black woman whose name is Ajike Owens. And it happened in June of last year, June 2nd, 2023. And basically what happens, we'll give some more specifics, but the generalization of what happened is that these two women are neighbors, and the community in which they live next to Susan's residence, which is like a quadplex.
It's
their
a neighborhood
units,
of quadruplexes.
There you go. Their units, each unit has four like individual units, but it is like a community. And so next to Susan's unit and specifically is a field. And Ajike Owens, who again lives in the neighborhood in the community, has children, and there are many children who live in this neighborhood. And so, as you would expect, many of the children go to that field and play outside. They laugh and they scream and they throw balls and they do things. And Susan, whose unit is positioned right there, has been annoyed, by the loudness of the children and that they're always playing. And so there have been a couple, I think it was over the span of a year and a half, 2 years.
2 years.
Over the span of that time frame, Susan and AJ have a number of run-ins regarding apparently AJ's dog pooping around there, the kids being loud, etc. And so over this time span, these interactions, I don't even know if they would escalate because, well, at one point it is said that Ajike Owens throws a sign at Susan Lorincz. It hits her shin or something. The police are called a number of times regarding these two.
Yep.
So on June 2nd, the children are outside playing and being loud. One of AJ's children's, according to them, leave an iPad or a tablet, I think like a tablet, in the field, and they leave that field. And when they go back to that, he realizes that he left his tablet. And when he goes back, he says that Susan has the tablet. She also, at one point, because the kids had some skates over there, she allegedly threw a skate at the children. So all of these things happen. She has the tablet. And so AJ's children go and get AJ. AJ comes over to Susan's house. She is upset, obviously, because you are throwing things at my children, speaking loudly at my children. So she goes over to Susan's house and she bangs on her door. And over the course of that happening, well, before Susan comes over, before AJ comes over, Susan calls 911 and she complains about these children. And within 2 minutes of her making that first phone call, AJ has arrived at her house. AJ has banged on her door. And then Susan, from inside of Susan's house, okay, with Susan's door shut and locked, Susan shoots through her door, through her closed and locked door that has no peephole. Okay. She shoots through the door. It strikes AJ and AJ dies. And so Susan is now on trial for shooting a woman through a closed and locked door that had no peephole. And so that is the trial we are going to talk about. We'll play a couple clips, but that is the setup.
Yeah.
Before, this is related, but also unrelated. In the trial, they were talking about obviously the door being closed. And so one of the experts with that, which is very typical in trials that involve guns, they talk about gunpowder residue and stippling and soot. And so my mini bar today that I just wanted to throw in here because they talked about it, it was meaningless in this trial because the door was closed. But I wanted to talk about something that I learned on another trial, which is like how you can think about soot and stippling. The example.
Well, the soot and the stippling could come into play if it's on the door, because that will
Yes,
determine
that's true.
if she was close to the door or in the kitchen.
100%.
Yeah.
So soot and stippling, what it does is indicates how close a person or how close a gun was shot to the target in which it was shot.
Yeah.
And so if soot is present on someone, and the target, if soot is present, it would indicate that the target was shot. The gun was shot within, I believe it's 6 inches. So
Close range.
very close range, 6 inches to the target. The gun to the target within 6 inches. If stippling is present, it would indicate that it is beyond that 6 inches, but still in like mid range. Okay. If both of those things are not present, it would indicate that there is a larger distance between the target and the gun. And so the expert, the way that they explained it is that, let's say you're at the beach and there's a rock right in the sand. So you kind of take a handful, you kind of you're looking to grab the rock, but you grab obviously some other like sand particles, right? So you just kind of grab a scoop. If you were to throw that, the thing that goes furthest would be the bullet, right? When you throw, some stuff will fall out almost immediately, right? Some of that sand would immediately fall out. That would be soot because it's very close range. It's just kind of dropping as soon as it explodes from the gun. That would be soot. The sand, right? Not the actual rock that goes furthest, but some of that sand that kind of drops along the way, that would be stippling. Okay. So that's the way that I always think about it when I hear it. It's like, okay, I picked it up, I've thrown it. What drops immediately would be soot. What goes kind of along the way would be stippling. And then where the bullet actually lands, obviously, would be the bullet.
That's good.
Right? There's your mini bar.
You came up with that or somebody else?
No. Somebody.
I'm like, yeah.
So I was watching a trial and it was a gun expert and they walked through that. And I have not forgotten it since because I was like, that's a visual I can go with. Like, I understand. So anyway, there's your mini bar. We're going to talk about the actual trial and what has happened. So what happens after AJ is shot at this development? Susan is taken to the police station to be investigated, to be questioned about what happens.
Well, before they take her to the station, they handcuffed her outside of her home.
Sure.
And she was so nonchalant and she was worried about her 2 cats.
She did ask about
so
her
please
cats.
close my door so my 2 cats won't exit.
She
I
did.
just wanted to say that.
It's true.
Okay.
That happened. So she is taken down to the police station. She is questioned. And then following that questioning, she is released. They tell her probably not a good idea to go back to your house because you have just killed somebody who lives in that neighborhood. So they are encouraging her to go somewhere else. The police continue investigation, their questioning and interviews about the incident with other people in the neighborhood. 4 days after the incident, June 6th, which is actually my birthday. I kept saying my birthday. On June 6th, Susan is brought back to the police station to do a second interview. It's important to note that at the top of both interviews, they ask her if she wants an attorney. Are you willing to speak to us without an attorney? And she says yes.
Yes, to speaking to them.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, listen, I believe that Susan belongs in jail, and we will get into all of that. However, I also believe that talking to police without an attorney, especially after you've killed someone, is probably the dumbest thing I have ever heard.
It is.
Why would you? I feel like that was her privilege talking. I feel like she was like, there's no way you're going to arrest me.
Yep.
I was so scared. Absolutely not.
Especially after not arresting her
the first time.
The first night.
Yeah.
So
after
the second
first
night,
time I got to go home, I am not going to jail. And so she sat in that room for 2 hours and spilled her life story to these officers and told them how she killed this woman.
Yep.
And I was so scared, but yeah, my door was closed. Yeah, my door was locked. Yeah,
the deadbolt was on and everything.
I was in the house. I sure did kill her. Like, it was wild. And so what I want to play for you first is that after this 2-hour interview and her spilling her guts about her life and what happened when she was 12.
Yeah, she got into all of it.
She got into all of it. After all of that, the police say, all right, Miss Susan, you are going to jail now. And I want to just play what happened when they told her she was going to jail. Also, the audio is all over the place with these videos, so bear with us because we're going to be trying to adjust along the way. But here is that video.
All right, we're going to have you. All right, Susan. All right, we're going to have you go with this deputy here.
No.
I'm sorry?
No.
No what?
I can't.
What's wrong? What's going on?
I just can't. I'm sorry, I can't do this.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, we're to that point where that's what's going to happen. Obviously, this isn't a conviction. This is you being charged, and then you're going to have your day in court to present your side of the story. Okay, so you're going to go with this deputy.
No, I'm not.
You're going to be booked in.
No, I'm not.
And fingerprinted.
No.
They're going to take your pictures, and then you will have an arraignment in the morning.
I'm not going. I'm sorry.
There's a phone down there. You'll be able to call whoever you need to call, and right there in booking.
I'm not going.
But Susan, we are going. There's no change in that now. You're under arrest. In fact, we can probably go ahead and put handcuffs on her. Let's get you handcuffed.
No.
Stand up.
No, don't touch me.
Susan.
Stand up, Susan.
No.
Listen.
Sorry, I can't.
It can go one of two ways. It can go an easy way or it can go a really hard way.
I'm sorry.
We don't want it to go the hard way.
I'm so sorry.
Susan, put yourself in our position. There's no choice in this. You're going over there.
I'm sorry, I can't do this.
Susan, you understand that from the point of the story that you've given us, that by refusing and resisting, that it's making you look bad, okay? And I understand your reluctance to want to go.
Good. I just can't do this.
Okay, well, they have medical staff over there that can assist you.
There's a nurse right in the front.
They can. You give them the prescription medications that you're taking, all that. They will assist you in making sure that you get the care you need.
No,
but
I can't
we're
do
going
this.
over there, okay? You're going to go over there.
I just can't do this.
Okay, well.
Come on, Susan, stand up.
If
we
we
don't
have
have time to debate.
I can't do this.
Okay, but do you understand that you're under arrest and you're going to be taken to the jail one way or another, okay?
I don't care.
Susan?
I just can't do this. I'm sorry.
I don't. What you're saying and doing right now is not reasonable.
I know it's not
There's been
reasonable, but I
people-
just can't do this.
So when you
So-
say it's it's not reasonable, that doesn't make sense to me.
I understand. I just can't do this. I'm sorry.
Okay. Then this is why we're in this position here, Susan, is because the decisions you make are not reasonable. You make just like what
I'm
we're
sorry.
experiencing right now.
I'm sorry. I just can't do this. I can't do this.
I've had people sit in this chair that have done things and they get up, they walk out on their own accord. They've done some really bad things. Okay, you're not the only person, but I need you
I
to.
just feel horrible. I can't do this.
Okay, well, we're going to go to the jail. There's no changing this. There's no stopping it.
I don't care. Kill me.
We're not going to kill anybody. We're going to take you to the jail. We'd rather you walk on your own. We'd rather you just walk down there. It'd be so much better for everybody if we could just walk down
Can
there.
you just stand up for me?
No.
So what do you plan on sitting here the rest of the night?
I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to die of a heart attack.
Well, like I said, they have medical staff over there. We want to be able to get you over
The
there.
quicker we get you over there, the quicker someone over there that's in medical can see you.
No, I just can't do
Susan,
this.
this is what's going to happen. We're going to put you in handcuffs, and if we have to forcefully bring you out there, that's what we
We're
have to
gonna
do
do
because
that.
we're
I
obligated
really don't want
to take you to the jail now, okay?
Thank you for
I'm
standing up.
sorry. I just.
I understand that.
So, put your hands behind your back for me.
No. I can't. I won't.
Imagine killing someone and then going to the police station and admitting to it in the way that you did.
Mhm.
And then when they tell you you're going to jail, simply saying, no,
Don't touch me.
kill me.
Yeah.
Man, the killing has been done by you. We won't
Mhm.
be doing it. You
And you-
took care of it for
And
us.
you heard the officer. Now, due to your decision making,
Yes.
we're in this situation.
Your
It's
actions
your
are
fault.
not reasonable.
Yes.
Here's the
It's
how
your
many
fault.
people, okay, that don't look like Susan can sit in a police station and simply tell the police no. That's not a thing that many of us can do. We would have been thrown all over the floor. We would have been batoned. There are Black people today who have been unarmed and shot and killed in their home. Hello, Sonia Massey. The fact that this woman sat in this station after killing someone, taking someone's life, and sat there and told them officers no, and they were nice still. They let her carry on for minutes and minutes and let her repeatedly say no. I'm sorry. No, I can't do this. I mean, my mind is blown. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So that's the person we're dealing with, okay, to start off. And I didn't even show the full video where there are claims. And I mean, a bunch of people in the neighborhood have said that she has repeatedly used racial slurs. Okay. And she just willy-nilly says the N-word. I mean, clear as day. Apparently, there's allegations of her talking about an underground railroad, calling people slaves, slave boy. I mean, they conduct this full interview with her, are very clear on the kind of woman and things she has said.
Mhm.
And then when they say you're under arrest, she says no. And they just nicely encourage her to get up. We're going to do this the easy way or the hard way. Show me the hard way. Okay? Because a lot of Black people have experienced the hard way and they don't have the option of an easy way. So show me the hard way. Show her. I want to see what the hard way looks like with the white woman that's 59 who just killed a Black woman who was unarmed.
They sat there and talked to her. They actually started lowering their tone and started being reasonable with her. So let's go now, Susan. Let's do this now, Susan. Man, I've been pulled over for a seatbelt, and they asked me to get out the vehicle, and it was now or hey, and they surround the vehicle, 3-4 cars
There's
pull
no
up.
options.
There's no, hey, let me get up out this month before you tear me up.
So Susan is taken to jail. Okay.
Finally.
Eventually, after all of that, Susan is taken to jail. So her
Oh, my
trial has
goodness.
started, and The next clip I want to play is their opening, because her defense is
terrible.
essentially self-defense. Her claim is self-defense. She was so terrified, which is something that she said repeatedly in that interview, in her 911 call. Like, I was so scared. I was so scared. Mind you, inside of her house, locked door. But her claim is, I was so scared. And so in the opening statement, what her team essentially does is highlight her fragility,
Her
highlight
disabilities all over the
her
place.
age and her ailments and her how frail and fragile she is, and she is and was at that time, and why the big bad wolf that was AJ yelling and banging on her door was so terrifying to her. So I just want to play a clip of her team's opening statement where they highlight this.
June of 2023, she was almost 59 years old, 58, almost 59 years old, but her body was much older than a 59-year-old. She suffered from many medical infirmities. You will hear that she had issues with her knee that caused countless surgeries that involved damaged tendons and ligaments in her right knee and a partial knee replacement in the left knee. Her right knee literally goes backwards because of all the damage to it. She had a car accident in 2019 that required invasive spine surgery, and she has diminished feeling in her legs and feet as a result of that spinal cord injury. You will hear that in 2021, she had a cervical fusion because of that car accident in 2019. She also had an aneurysm on her kidney. She had a torn muscle in her left shoulder and torn rotator cuff in 5 places. You will hear that she also had a herniated thoracic disc and carpal tunnel in both hands, and had surgery on her left hand because of it in 2022. You'll also hear that she is a survivor of ovarian cancer, and she's in remission. Needless to say, with all these physical ailments, still 59 years old, almost 59 years old in June 2023, inherently, she was significant.
She walking dead, ain't she?
I mean, again, it is
rotating cuff in 5 places,
but could throw a skate, an umbrella, and shoot a weapon.
Yeah, she had carpal tunnel in both hands,
but was well enough to do all of those things. But the point is, what I was trying to showcase with that is the setup. It is opening statement, and her attorneys are already, right? They're doing their job, already putting in the mind of jurors how frail, fragile, ailed she is, how old she is, how this younger Black woman, angry, big bad, it's literally angry Black woman, big bad wolf, has come over and scared her so badly, terrified her, that she shoots. And so that is their claim for self-defense. That is their setup. And so anyway, I thought it was important to just highlight like how they build upon their defense. So after that happens, obviously the trial starts. And before I go into the first clip from the trial, I wanted to do a little bit of setup. So if you're only listening to this on audio, you won't see this. We'll try to describe it a little bit, but I wanted to show the images of the environment, images of the neighborhood, so you can kind of get a visual and understand what this is.
I also think that's the only way the lawyers could have come at
Absolutely
that. I mean,
absolutely,
her being so frail, so which caused her to be so scared.
Yeah.
I don't know if the jury's gonna buy it, but that's the only way.
So this first image is you're looking at 2 of the units. Okay, the one on the left with there's a sign that I believe says private property. There was also some no trespassing signs that she had placed there. So the one on the left is Susan's home. And the way that and so you're standing out at the field, which is directly kind of on the outside of her house or quad. And what you see if you're looking at her unit is there's a bit of a fence in it. It's almost like a patio. It's like an enclosed patio. It's not
It's a
fully fenced,
privacy.
but yeah.
It's a privacy patio. So those that white door you see, and you see the sidewalk. So you walk into the door area, and then it opens up to a patio, so she could have her own little outside sitting situation going on.
But it's kind of it's
And it's
fenced.
enclosed.
Yeah.
That's the opening for it, though.
Yeah. So she has an area if she wanted to be outside. The field is beyond her private enclosed area. And then you see like a glass door. That glass door also says this is a bit closer. So this
Oh,
is
yeah,
her
this explains it.
actual patio. You see her door, and then you see this sign that she has on there that says no trespassing. Her claim was that these kids were even coming closer than the field, but this is her enclosed area. And then this is that rod that's sticking out is the trajectory rod that the state, they had somebody come and do this trajectory rod. The defense also had somebody do another rod, and the position of it is different than this one. But this is the one from the state, and you see the trajectory rod of her door. So she was on the inside of her house. You see that umbrella handle, right? So she's on the inside, that part. And then the out where the trajectory rod is coming out of the door, that is obviously the outside kind of patio. So that's just context as we go into the clips. So the first clip I'm going to play is one of the kids from the area who was friends with AJ's children. They had been outside playing at that field with an adult that day, and he's going to talk about kind of what happens. And he goes after what happens. This child goes and tells his father. His father was the first witness in the whole case. So his father testified first, and then the child came. So let's listen to him telling his version of what happened.
Isaac and Izzy's mom walking over to the lady who shot her's house?
Yes. I was at the basketball hoop. She looked mad. I remember her cursing.
Did you see Isaac and Izzy's mom go up to the lady who shot her's door?
Yes. I was beside my house when it happened.
Were you in that general area when you saw Isaac and Izzy's mom at the door?
Yes. I remember her banging on the door. She was banging in a mad type of bang. I remember her saying, open up the door. She was saying the B word and the F word.
Did you ever see Isaac and Izzy's mom reach for the door handle?
No.
Did you ever hear Isaac and Izzy's mom say, I'm going to kill you?
No. After she banged on the door, I remember hearing a gunshot. I saw Isaac's mom run and yelling, call 911. I went to my dad. I ran to my dad, actually.
So one of the key things in this as well is that Susan claims that when AJ was beating and banging on her door, she said, I'm going to kill you. And that is what Susan says caused her to shoot, because this woman is so scary and shaking her door and banging on it, and then said, I'm going to kill you. And that's what caused her to shoot. No one that they have put on the witness stand at all has said that that AJ said that. No one heard her say that. Many of them heard her say, come outside. Many of them heard her, the little boy just said the F word and the B word. Another witness even testified to her cursing, saying those words. A lot of people have been able to corroborate that part. No one has said that AJ said, I'm going to kill you. None of them have said that she said, I'm coming into your home. She said, come outside. And so that also is a big point here, right? The defense is saying she was so scared. She thought that Susan thought AJ was going to come into her house and beat her to death, literally is what they are saying. And the state is saying she actually wanted Susan to come outside. AJ did not want to go in Susan's house. She wanted her to come outside, and she never said, I'm going to kill you. So this level or interpretation of fear that is so elevated is unreasonable, because how could what you think was going to happen, how could it ever happen, essentially?
Well, obviously, she's saying that she said that she's going to kill her, so it'll enhance
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
And also, if you all think about all the altercations that you've seen personally or even on TV, how many times have you heard somebody arguing with somebody and they're like, I'm gonna kill you? People don't say that. It's just not, that's not a thing. I'm gonna kill you. No.
I think
It's
go ahead.
it's not a common thing, especially in a situation like that. I understand, come outside, I'm gonna beat your, that type of verbiage, but I'm gonna kill you. No. And to your point, no one testifies and says, oh yeah, she heard that. I mean, they heard that, and she was talking so loud and banging so loud, everybody heard everything. So they wouldn't have missed that.
I think the other thing, I could imagine younger children, teenagers who are, their frontal lobe is not fully developed, and they take their ego with a little more seriousness than they should. I could imagine though that phrase coming out and maybe even them meaning it. I think many people though understand a threat and understand how dangerous it is to say, I'm going to kill you. I believe, to the point that you're making, that many people understand that and would therefore not throw that out willy nilly. And so, yeah, I believe that it is hard to believe that she would say, I don't know, I wasn't there, but I think my point is, I think many people understand the level of threat it is and the fear that you can impart on someone if you say, I'm going to kill you. That is something that many people wouldn't take lightly. So to the point that I'm making about the defense, their defense being self-defense, what they are doing repeatedly with every single witness that they get to cross-examine is highlight how angry AJ was, how hard she was beating the door, and how loud she was with her language, her yelling, which again puts into the jury's mind, fragile old woman, big bad woman, black woman. She was terrified. So here is some example of that.
She was doing it with her fist, right?
Yes.
She was really mad, wasn't she?
Yes.
She seemed really angry, right?
Yes.
And then after that, you started banging on Miss Susan's regular door, right?
Yes.
And it was like bang, 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 hard, right? And she was doing it with her fist, right?
Yes.
She was screaming, right?
Yes. Yes.
Miss Owens seemed frustrated, right?
No, ma'am, I didn't see.
And you went towards Susan's house because you felt like an altercation was going to happen, right?
No, ma'am.
And you refer to that neighborhood as the hood?
Yes.
The landlord's rent to some unsavory people?
Yes.
Now, the banging was so hard it was shaking the walls in your house, right?
Yes.
And you were scared.
Oh, yes.
And while this banging was happening, you heard voices, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the voices were loud.
Very loud.
The voices were aggressive.
Yes.
The voice sounded like when someone gets really mad and really wants to scream, right?
Yes.
And it sounded like it was coming from outside, right?
Yes.
You were talking about a prior instance that you saw where Ajike threw a sign.
Yes.
Ajike had walked onto Susan's property and picked that sign up.
Yes.
And the sign hit Susan on the shin.
Yes.
And then Susan fell to the ground.
Yes.
And the police came out and talked to them.
Yes.
So here is something that may not be well received, but
they building the case.
My opinion is that the defense is doing their repetition is doing a good job in emphasizing how scary Susan could have been.
Oh yeah.
Like,
of course.
It was so scary because she was so loud. The bangs were so intense and aggressive. Like, I believe that they are doing a good job in putting across to the jury that self-defense is a claim, it could be accurate here, which makes me sad and upset, but I believe that they are doing the best job that they could do in that. They're specifically because of the repetition.
Of course. hats off to them. They are.
Yeah.
But the simple fact of the matter is that door was closed, that door was locked, and she was not in her home. So the buck stops there.
Except, and here's my problem, I think as many times as the defense is emphasizing it was scary, the state needs to emphasize, and that door was closed, and it was locked, and she was inside. And I don't believe, I'm not a lawyer, but I don't believe thus far. I'm still holding out hope on the jury doing their job and given instructions that they can, execute properly and give a verdict that feels just. But I think that they've already rested, but I think the state should have emphasized, as much as the defense emphasizes how scary it is, they need to be emphasizing the door was shut and locked, and you had already called the police. And within 2 minutes of you calling the police, you fired a shot. So all of this big, scary terror, banging on the door happened in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
This woman, Susan, hung up the phone with police. Okay. Timer starts 2 minutes. Hangs up. She goes to her bedroom, gets a gun because she's at the door. The bedroom, the gun is in a trash can in her bedroom at the back of the house. So in this 2 minutes of hanging up, AJ comes to her door, bangs on it so aggressively that the wall is shaking. Susan goes to her bedroom, grabs the gun out of her trash can, comes back in, shoots her, and then calls the police back. All of that happens in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And a lot can happen, but the story, the emphasis that they put across, it blows it up.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that the state does it on the opposite side. And I just don't, it's my opinion, I just don't think that they did it well.
The state did emphasize
Okay.
that door was locked. But to your point, it wasn't rammed into the jurors' heads like every statement. Boom,
Yeah.
boom. Hey, the door was locked, right? The
Which
door
is
was
harder
locked.
to do on
But they
direct.
did ask everybody, was the door locked? The door was locked.
Sure.
Was your deadbolt on? Yes, my deadbolt was on. I mean, what else did they say? They asked they made a good point. But anyway, the door, they kept specifying that the door was locked. Oh, and
Well,
then
they could only ask.
then they specified um why they were, you know what, all this is during the question. This, I don't even think this was during the trial.
That's what I was about
This
to say.
was all during
Nobody can speak to if the door was locked or anything except Susan. She was the only one who was inside, so nobody could really.
During
And that's
the
why I'm saying it is
interrogation.
harder to do
Yeah.
on direct examination. Like, it is harder to do. It's easier on cross, and because of the nature of this case, witnesses are on the outside, so all they can really testify about is what they see and heard from the outside. So it is harder to do. So that is to be taken. That is a fair point. But the other thing to note, and we'll see how this turns out, is that this is an all-white jury. All-white jury.
Yeah. I think it's what 4 women, 2 men.
I believe
something
that's
like
exactly the makeup. And so,
and don't let and they're older.
oh, I don't know ages.
I think they said they were older in the 50
All of them?
50 and up. Yeah.
Well, that wouldn't be a jury of your peer. Well, I guess
It's
it
her
is. It's her
peers.
Well, so anyway, that is, that setup. The other thing I wanted to note is that the next video I had is, where's my thing at? The landlord, okay, who owns it, testifies. He's the last witness on day one. And what was interesting about his testimony is that he talks about that field, and that her whole thing, right? Susan's whole point is that they're trespassing. She has no trespassing sign. She has private property. And what she doesn't like is that these kids are always on this field and being loud and obnoxious, and she hates it. And she said they antagonize her, and all of these things happen. But what's so interesting is that the landlord says that that's not even his property.
It's not. And this sign that Susan got hit in the shin with and fell down onto the ground is the sign, y'all, that you see in front of any home that has the real small aluminum stakes that you just push down into the ground, and then the sign itself is like cardboard or whatever it is. She's saying that this sign knocked her down.
Yeah.
If come on now, and I'm not sure if they explained it in the trial. I didn't see it, but that should come up as evidence and saying this is what she called the police for. Somebody picked this sign up and hit her in her shin. And matter of fact, they did. The police officer said he didn't see any signs of damage on her leg at all, or bruising from it. You calling the police for this piece of cardboard being thrown at you? That's wild.
Here we go.
Next to this quadplex,
the majority of the property is owned towards the upper duplex, quadplex.
okay, so the majority of that open field is owned by the other quadplex owner?
Correct.
And that's not you?
No.
Understood. Do you have any property rights to that larger portion of the open field than other quadplex to the right?
No, I do not.
Are you able to tell anybody that they can't go on that property?
I cannot.
Are you aware that there are children that sometimes play in that open field?
Yes.
Have you ever personally told any of those children they weren't allowed to do that?
I have not.
And why wouldn't you be able to do that?
It's not my property.
Okay.
So the field that Susan is so upset about that these children are playing on, the owner, okay, because she's a renter in this property, obviously, the owner is saying that's not even, most of that field is owned by somebody else. So I can't tell anybody not to play on it, and I never have. Susan's the only one acting like she owns this place and that is so upset about these children playing on this open field. You know what? It's this woman, AJ, has lost her life. And the reality is, I wish Susan would have asked for a different unit. Like,
Man.
Instead of living next to an open field, I wish you would have moved.
Or embrace children playing at your age. It's a known thing. The elderly live longer when they're around children.
Hello.
This is scientific fact. Embrace it, enjoy it, or like you said, hey, let me get the other unit on the other side of the complex. Instead of going around trying to dictate what these kids are doing, this is, come on, and then putting the no trespassing sign out on the field.
On the field, which is not your space. Your line stops at the end of the line. It stops where that fence stops. So how do you have authority if the landlord is saying he don't even have authority? How do you, renter, have authority beyond your space? Anyway, the point is, because we're getting a little, I think what sucks is that this trial becomes everything that we're talking about when it really should come down to, you were inside of your home with the door closed. Is there a world legally, right, where you can be inside of your home with your door closed and blindly shoot without a peephole, shoot through a door and be able to claim self-defense? Like I'm not a lawyer, but the legal mind that I try to have sometimes it's hard to reconcile that. Obviously they're trying to, and we'll see if the jury agrees. But when you start throwing in the trespassing sign in the field, you throw in all this other stuff, and it's like, yeah, that's okay. But like, take away all of that. And at the end of the day, what happened is that a door was shut and she was inside with it locked and police were already on the way. And you shot through a door blindly and killed somebody. Like, that's it. And does this stuff even matter?
You gave it no time. 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes, actually, because it took you time to go get the weapon.
Yeah.
Load the weapon, cock the weapon, point so you did it like this, really. And there could have been anybody on the other side of that door with her.
Anybody. The officer said that it could have been the officers that you called. It could have been children. It could have been the Girl Scouts trying to get your cookies, girl. Something. It could have been anyone and you didn't check. You didn't look. You weren't for sure. And she wasn't what the angles and even the people that the defense had up today, they were saying that she was basically near her kitchen. So she shot. She wasn't like on the door. She was like a couple feet away and shot. So again, you weren't like looking out that glass door to see who's out there and then you're like shooting at them and you've confirmed who it is. You're like back and shooting, which is just reckless. It's truly reckless.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's play this last thing and then we can get out of here. So when Susan's phone was confiscated to be examined, they found some pictures, some videos from the day of this incident. So throughout the day, the kids are on this field playing, and she is taking videos of them. They're very short clips, but that she is taking videos of them on this field throughout the day. And so you can kind of see, you can get your own vibes from it, child.
We were talking about, they actually show that they were from the actual phone itself, and there is metadata within the report to show that it was from a specific make and model of the phone to which it lives.
Showing you a photo that you found from at 7:30 and 12 seconds p.m. Was there a photo at 7:30 and 36 seconds p.m. as well?
There is videos.
You hear him.
Is there a photo or a video at 7:58 and 59 seconds p.m.?
There is.
There's nothing to record!
Line up, let's go!
Good.
Did you locate a photo at 8:33 and 34 seconds p.m.?
We did.
Did you locate a video at 8:33 and 59 seconds p.m.?
We did.
What about a photo at 8:34 and 57 seconds p.m.? A video, excuse me.
We did.
So there are these very short videos, but you hear the kids saying, "Why is she recording us? There's nothing to record." That last video was recorded at 8:34. By 8:54, she had called the police, the first call. She has this, I think it lasted, the first call was like 5 minutes. And then she gets off at 8:59 p.m. And at 9:01, she is calling back to say, "I've killed this woman." So, but even based off the 20 minutes after the last video we just played, it has escalated, and but the videos show the kids playing.
Yep.
If anything, I would argue she is antagonizing them.
Yes.
They are literally saying, "Why are you recording us?" They are not at her property line. They are not within her fenced patio. They are not speaking to her outside of them asking, "Why are you recording us?"
Yes. And that's what the jury should see and understand.
How did we get to you filming children and now you're so scared, locked in your house, that you feel like you have to shoot somebody blindly out of your locked door?
Premeditated.
So
that's all that's what I see. I see her doing things to the point where I'm gonna get her back over here. And she knows that AJ is gonna be irritated. And she knows that AJ is gonna come aggressive. And I'm gonna act so scared, and I'm gonna shoot through my door. I'm not gonna open my door because she probably was getting out. Like I'm not about to getting
You
no
throw a
physical.
skate at my kid, you better not open your door either.
Well, thank you.
You take my baby iPad or tablet I paid for,
Yeah.
your best bet is to leave the door shut.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to come to your house because I don't even want them problems. But if I do show up, your best bet is to stay inside.
Yeah.
Because what, girl? What?
And it's like, why are you filming these kids?
Why?
What's
I might
the
show up at
purpose
your house
behind
anyway,
it?
because why are you filming my children?
Yeah.
Why are you filming you are antagonizing them. You are bothering them. Your claim is that they are bothering you. They are not. You are bothering them.
Yeah.
So anyway, that is the setup of the case with a ton of opinions from us, obviously. It is supposed to be over by tomorrow. Today we're filming this on Thursday. Tomorrow it's supposed to be over and in the hands of the jury. The defense right now is still, they're bringing their witnesses up. We will see what happens. I am hoping to have an attorney from Florida come on this podcast to talk about what self-defense is and looks like in Florida, what to explain manslaughter versus murder, because Susan was charged with manslaughter and not murder, so potentially to explain a little bit of that, and talk about stand your ground, which obviously we know very well from Florida because of George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin. So we are hoping to get a Florida attorney to come on here and talk about some of that. And obviously by that time we'll probably have a verdict, so maybe we can talk about what happens in this case. That said, rest in love and peace to Ajike Owens. All the prayers to her family and everyone, her children, everyone who loved her. This is a terrible, unnecessary case and situation that has happened that really feels like it could have and should have been avoided. It's so unfortunate. So rest in love and peace to Ajike Owens. Go ahead.
We can end on that one.
So thank you for watching. We will see y'all next time. Please make sure you follow me. I'm Not a Lawyer, but on all the platforms. I just hit 30,000 subscribers on YouTube. Very excited about that. And slowly making my way to 700,000 on TikTok. We almost there. Also building the Instagram page, I'm Not a Lawyer, but so you can follow me there as well. That's a slow build, but it's building. So follow us there. Like, subscribe, share, tell your people about the podcast.
Yes, tell everybody about the podcast, and you can catch your boy on IG. That's GOOLZBY, Building with Goose on YouTube.
And we'll be talking YSL very soon. Don't worry. We got things to say. All right. Take us out.
Court is adjourned.